Ladies and gentlemen, what is good? It is the absolute best time of the year here at the Black Baseball Mixtape because it is opening day. And today is actually opening day. Last night they had opening night. The Yankees dominated the Giants. And all day today, it has been high level Major League Baseball action with just about every team on the field. I am your host, Cheats. This is the Black Baseball Mixtape. I'm excited to have you. We are joined by the crew, which we are going to get into. And tonight, you will hear our predictions for who will win the divisions, who's going to the World Series, who's going to win the World Series. You're going to hear it all. You're going to hear it all from myself and our BBM crew. Before we get into all of that, we got a couple other things we got to get into as well. But before we get into everything, I want to give a shout out to our 2026 Black Baseball Mixtape podcast sponsors. That's right, the Players Alliance, Minority Prospects, Numbers Game Scorecards. Make sure you check all of them out. They are doing great things across the country. Numbers Game Scorecards, in particular, if you want a discount on your Black Baseball Mixtape scorecard, make sure you go to the link. You can put in Black Baseball Mixtape for a special code. Shout them out. You can find them. Just type it in anywhere. Numbers Game Scorecards. It will come up. I am joined by always the crew. Shout out to Butterman Baseball. Malik, how are you feeling this opening day?
Oh, I'm feeling joyful. It feels like it was just yesterday and the World Series
It
was
really did feel like it.
wrapping up and we were anticipating the World Baseball Classic. That sped by. And then we
That
had a
did.
little bit of a hangover on that because I felt a little sad when that was over. We got to wait another few years before that comes back. And now the season has begun and now it's serious baseball. It's like you like went from fun, joyous, playing drums and maracas, and now it's like, all right, serious, time to win the World Series.
Or boring. No, or not as exciting as the World Baseball Classic. Before, look, we do have to shout out Team Venezuela, 2026 World Baseball
Yes.
champions. Our last podcast was at the end of pool play before the quarterfinals, semifinals, and championships. We didn't really get a chance to revisit that. Venezuela in Miami took it over, did a really, really great job. Couple of guys had that. I think Lewis Brinson might have had Venezuela going to the finals. I think they were playing the Dominican. But hey, look, all about April Tindany Talk is here. She's also an attendee, if you will, of the World Baseball Classic Heavy. And now, how are you feeling this opening day?
I'm feeling great, and I will tell y'all, please make sure you tune into my latest podcast episode because I speak specifically about my experience at the World Baseball Classic. I also talk about Team USA boring and my thoughts exactly on what I think Team USA boring actually exemplifies from a country perspective. So yeah, you want to lock in with that, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Y'all know I'm locked in with softball and college softball and baseball. It's been a great time, especially with the University of Texas #2 team just lost to the University of Houston on Tuesday night. So this was, and they were winning like 7-0 the entire game. So that's been fun. And I also want to point out the University of Oklahoma has like they're leading college softball with like 100 something home runs, maybe like 127, and the next college has like 71. And most of them are coming from freshmen. So this is a wild ride so far. So I didn't have the hangover as much because so much is happening elsewhere, but I'm really excited for this prediction show.
Excellent. There's a lot going on. I don't believe there's been a lot of change at the top, right? This is still UCLA in the men's and Oklahoma for the women, #1 in the country.
No.
Okay,
It
what
was
do we got?
Tennessee for a while in softball. Tennessee lost to Florida this past weekend. And so now the new #1 is the University of Texas. So Texas is now #1 in softball with Texas Tech at 2, OU at 3, I think
You
maybe
said Texas just lost to Houston.
that was in baseball.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what
Are
you're
you
saying.
talking about? Are you talking about baseball? But in baseball, UCLA is still number one.
Yeah, that's.
Hmm.
And then
That's,
in softball, who's number one?
it is
You said
now
Texas.
Texas.
Texas. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been. It's been a lot going on, and I was just recently. I made a quick trip in Richmond down the street for me. Norfolk State took on Norfolk State University and
Oh,
HBCU. They took on VCU, my alma mater, and alma mater,
Mm.
and they beat them. So Norfolk State
nice.
beat VCU, A10 school. That was a big win for Coach Morgan and their program down there. So shout out to all the
Love it.
behold in green and gold, the Norfolk State Spartans, because they did get a huge win midweek game, if you
Yes.
will. With that said, there's a couple things we want to touch on before we get into our full predictions, because this time of year is always about numbers. I get really excited about numbers. And obviously, on the Black Baseball Mixtape, the first thing they're going to ask us, and they ask me all the time, is, Cheech, how many black players are in Major League
Mhm.
Baseball? How many? And again, there is so many caveats to this that it is very hard. I've got to be very clear. It is very hard to give data without all the qualifiers that come into play when you talk about data.
Mhm.
In a blanket question, like even how many African Americans are in Major League Baseball, gets very tricky when it
Mhm.
comes to baseball. Baseball has become so global that it is really difficult about how you're counting. So you have to qualify all of these things. And so when I was looking at the active roster, obviously there's 26 players on a Major League Baseball active roster. That is not the 40 man. The 40 man is different from the active roster. The active roster are the guys in the dugout ready to play on
Right.
the field. The injured list, where players like Hunter Green started the season on the injured list, they're not on the active roster. J.P. Crawford in Seattle, American-born black player, not on the active roster because he's on the injured list. So all of this comes into play when you're kind of saying, okay, 780 folks total on the active roster. Then it gets even trickier. Are you counting biracial players? Yes, I count biracial players,
Mhm.
American born biracial players, as black players for this data point. Am I counting North America? Like, am I counting the Naylor brothers who were born in Canada? No, I'm not counting the
Mhm.
Naylor brothers. Am I counting Jazz, who was born in the Bahamas? No, I'm not
Yeah.
counting Jazz, who was born in the Bahamas. But it still gets trickier, Malik, because you'll appreciate this. Because there is, like, say the Palacio brothers, who are friends of our program, friends of our mixtape, really great friends. We love Richie and Josh Palacios. They're born in Brooklyn. Father is from Curacao. Mother is Puerto Rican, but born in Brooklyn. They, are they counted as more Afro Latinos, or are they counted as American born black players because they are black? They consider this. So the Richie Palacio is counted, where George Springer, who was also born in Connecticut, his father is, I want to say, Panamanian. It's either I believe
Mhm.
it's Panamanian or Colombian. His
Mhm.
mother is Latina, and he considers himself an Afro Latina, like a Latina. So he doesn't count. So Springer doesn't count, but the Blasios count. So it's a whole thing. It's just how there's some self identification. So the numbers are always going to be a little tricky when you talk about
Mhm.
this. With that said, the number as of opening day now, because it did change. The Major League Baseball teams had till noon, basically before their first game to put in their active rosters.
Mhm.
And so some things, like a guy like I see the Houston Astros hat. Bryce Matthews was down to the wire. Tyler Tolbert was a guy in the Royals that they didn't think was going to be on, and ultimately something happened. He got put on at the last minute. So, long story short, is the number of American-born, by my count, the number of American-born black players in Major League Baseball active roster on opening day is down 54. Earlier, when I did the report, it was 52. It has gone up by 2.
Okay.
It is now 54. The percentage doesn't change. So it was 6.67 rounded to 7. Now it's 6.9 round it to 7. Um,
Nice.
so there's a few more African Americans in, well, American born black players, you gotta be careful, in the National League than the American League. And I want to say the team with the most, Minnesota Twins, have
Oh
six on
wow.
six
Mm-hmm.
on the active roster,
Yep.
and they are number one by like they are. There were at the original time when I didn't think Tolbert was going to make the active roster. I said there were 7 teams that did not have American-born black players on the
Hmm.
team. Now that Tolbert's on the Royals, that is reduced down to 6. One catcher, Drake Baldwin, is the only catcher that's an American-born black player on any active roster. There's some other tidbits in there, but what I will do is I want to get your read on this because I did not do any commentary on the numbers when I posted them. I just said these are the numbers, and then there was a lot of commentary in the comments. Obviously, when you hear that opening day active roster 2026 American-born black players are 7% of the league, what is your reaction? I'll start with you, April. What do you think? What comes to mind?
What comes to mind is how do we get to this point where it's like this is my question every year. Like how do we get to the point where it's just 7%? Because it hasn't always been 7%. And I think that we saw that highly reflected during the World Baseball Classic as well. Because there weren't many people to even pull from for Team USA. There was only Byron Buxton. He was the only black man who represented the team. So for me, it's disappointing that the number is low. I wish that it would be higher. But what gives me hope and inspiration is the fact that I do watch college baseball and I see us just breaking ranks there and performing at such a high level to where you kind of have no choice but to accept the fact that there is still a place for us within the league. We see people like from LSU, Trey Morgan. We know he's in the Rays organization. What Kyson Witherspoon, he just came up, and what Justin LeBron is predicted to be a top 5 pick in the draft. So there is hope coming up, and I am hoping that with what we are seeing specifically with college baseball, that leads us to at least over 10% within the next couple of years because these players are really, really good and they will add value to the teams that exist within MLB.
Very well said. When you hear the number Malik 7%, what's your initial reaction?
Um, I would say my initial reaction to that is that it remains to be a consistent number because the very best of players that make it to MLB tend to be after are well, let me say it like this. The best African Americans are able to stay in MLB. There's not a lot of room for players that can fall in the middle in that middle ground. If
Hmm.
you look at the 1994 through 1996 MVP votings, you would see that 50% of the players that were in the top 10 of voting in both leagues were African American. Really between like 20 to 50%. You'll see Kenny Lofton in the ballot, Barry Bonds in the ballot, Kenan Griffey in the ballot, Fred McGriff in some of those ballots as well. These days, you sometimes see that too. You see Aaron Judge in the ballot. Sometimes you might see Mookie Betts. The best players that tend to fall on these MLB rosters tend to be kind of funneled into being the best players. And so what we're seeing is that there's a lack of I guess middle ground players or fringe players that could be on these rosters, players that are starting to get squeezed out of rosters like Tyler Tolbert. Tolbert may have been, squeezed off the roster from the Royals if he weren't to perform, or if that said player weren't to be injured on this team, or players that are just like on that fringe of being quad A players are still kind of stashed in AAA. So, but like April was saying, there is a lot of young talent and a lot of prospects that are in the wings. And so there's going to be a lot of uberly good African American talent in the pipeline. It's just that there seems to be not enough room for players that are just under the elite level.
So I see that as well. and here's the thing I find really interesting about all of this is, and I will say, I am actually more encouraged. I think most people look at the number and they say 7%, and they instantly think of it as a kind of a negative.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm much more concerned. I'm much more encouraged, not by the actual outcome of the number per se,
Mhm.
but again, we're looking at a trajectory since 1985, 1986 that has gone from 18 down, 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 down
Mhm.
every year. And it gets to basically six ish, and it gets to six or seven ish. And then the last couple of years, it's kind of flattened out. Like it's kind of hit
Mhm.
like this level. And I think before anything goes up, what's it got to do? It's got to flatten out a little bit. It's got to stop going down, right?
Mhm.
So over the last couple of years, I think you're starting to see the numbers stop going down. And I do think with when we look at if you even look at everyone's AAA rosters and AA rosters, I do
Mhm.
think they have potential to
Mhm.
really start to take up. Now and
Right.
again, I've said this and I will continue to say this till the cows come home. 100% doesn't change.
Right.
So when we were looking at, ever since Jackie integrated and black players started coming in, we started looking at the numbers, even if you say like 85, 86,
Mhm.
the Latin number was under, I think the Latin number was under 10, the Asian number was under 2%. It was basically a white black person league, even in the 80s.
Right.
Mhm.
And now, and we're going to talk about this next, but the number of foreign born
Mhm.
MLB players right now sits at 26%. And we'll talk about this in a second. But you're never going to make up. Like I don't believe the system is going to allow like the
Right.
93 like
Overall.
the 90
Right.
the 93 players that are playing in Major League Baseball right now from the Dominican Republic,
Mhm.
that number's not going to go down so the African American number can go
Right.
up. So, I mean, what's going to happen is I don't think you get back up to, you know what I mean, that
Right.
number of
Mhm.
19-20% per se, but I
Right.
do think you improve on 7, and maybe you know what I mean, maybe you can, cuz again, the other thing is there are and I'll just roll both of these segments in together. There are 93 players right now in Major League Baseball that were born in the Dominican Republic. There are 60 players playing in Major League Baseball right now that was born in Venezuela. There are 20 that was born in Cuba and 14 that were born in Japan. If we put the 54 total number on the active roster into that mix, then American born black players are third. You know what I mean? They're third on the list. Dominican Republic is one, Venezuela is two, and then there's more American people. Most people wouldn't think about this, but there's more
Right.
American born black players than there are players from Cuba or players from Japan in Major League Baseball right now.
Mhm.
So it's like it's this interesting thing, but I do feel very encouraged because again, you're looking at players with Major League Baseball experience. You look at the somebody mentioned the Rays earlier. Uh
Yeah.
Justin Henry Malloy is in AAA now. Like,
Right.
you said Trey Morgan is in there. Xavier Xavier Isaac. Like these
Mhm.
guys, there are players that have major league experience and like of that ilk, and quite a few of the 30 Major League Baseball like affiliate ball teams with guys that are just like really. I think the Reds sent down, Reese Hines at the last, you know what I mean, the
Mhm.
last minute. These are guys that are going to get major league experience. They're probably going to get it this year. So I do think the number changes.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I'll be interested to see. I was surprised that the number of pitchers were 11. Um, and so like I'm interested to see if that number, if a guy like a Tristan McKenzie gets a call to, to pitch back in the majors this year. Like I'll be interested to see what the Tink Hintz from the Cardinals
Mhm.
organization does
Just
he
about to
get a
say his
call this
name.
year. So it's like I'm way more encouraged than discouraged. And
Mhm.
I think again, people just look at the number and say 7 and throw their hands up. But I feel like this 7% feels different in 2026
Right.
than it does in previous years because there's
Mhm.
so many guys that are just like right there. And
Right.
they're, I mean, I hate to say it, but they're stint, one regular everyday player on the 10-day injured list
Mhm.
from
Making
going
it
up.
to
I
the
think
league.
the Nats have like 3 of them sitting there
Right.
waiting
Angels
for
too.
somebody to get a call.
Angels too. Angels have
Yeah, Kyron Paris and Christian Moore are in AAA.
and the
They're
pitcher.
down.
What's his name? Victor, the guy. Like they have pitchers too.
Najir
So
Victor, he
yeah.
pitched so well
Yeah.
in the WBC.
Yep. Harry Ford
Yes.
is down for the Nats. Like, you know what I mean? Like they've got these guys sitting there waiting to like
For
get
the
their
moment.
debuts in. So I'm a little bit more encouraged. But let's put a bow on this. When you hear though 26% of foreign-born players playing in MLB, it's a very international game. You hear 93 players from the Dominican Republic, 60 from Venezuela. Like, what's your first reaction to that?
I'm not angry. Like I'm just like
Nah,
that's the like we are seeing the talent in Major League Baseball too. So it's not like they're just pulling random people from the Dominican Republic.
no.
I enjoy watching Manny Machado make the plays that he makes at third base. We all know like we enjoy watching Tatis and Julio Rodriguez and many of these other players. So for me, whenever I see it, I do like seeing the competitive nature embraced within MLB. My only thing is I just want us to be able to have the same energy included from their cultures within MLB.
Which
So
is difficult, right? No, I
right.
understand. They definitely, all the international players felt like they were playing freer during the WBC than they were, obviously, in a Major League Baseball uniform. But
Mhm.
Malik, what do you think? There's, again, you see that number 26% players, foreign born players in MLB. What's the initial
Well,
reaction?
I think now it's really just a indicative of the history of the
Mhm.
introduction of international players into the league. If we consider the integration period in 1947, where the Negro leagues actually had Latino players in their
Yep,
league.
Right,
So
they did.
yep.
the very fact that we're seeing the number of, I guess, African Americans by a numbers perspective, I guess looking at that 7% declining. I guess if we look at it from a historical, statistical perspective, that moment really made the league much more diverse.
Mhm.
And just because we see 7% does not necessarily mean that the African American presence in the league is, extinct or in danger of dying per se. It's just that we've kind of spread the pot a little bit, and I think that's good
Right.
for the rest of the game. We have the WBC, and it kind of opens the conversation for us as Black Americans to kind of see ourselves more as international. We went to the WBC and there were more black players that weren't playing for Team USA,
Yep.
who live in
Sure.
the USA, who are, have US, who are, Black Americans in all sense of the meaning. And so I think that it really kind of helps us to kind of see ourselves not so different from players like Ronald Acuna Jr.
Right.
or players who speak a different language than we do. And so I think it really
Mhm.
kind of puts us as on the international stage as African Americans, and I think it kind of spreads the pot a little bit. I love it.
And that was the thing. That there was so much beauty in that in the WBC in regards to kind of being the global citizen, right? And
Hmm.
I do think, especially for Black American fans,
Mhm.
because the team and let me be very clear because I don't want to feel like that we're doing any disrespect to Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge and
Right.
Byron Buxton were the two
Yeah, yeah,
American-born Black players on Team USA.
I forgot. My bad. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
There would be some more. There would be some more if there wasn't some insurance issues and some health
Right.
issues. There were a
and
couple guys
Mookie
that were
Betts,
there
he
were
had to
there were in
take a
family
seat.
issues. He was taking some time for family, but there were some folks that were. It had been brought to my attention personally afterwards that hey, look, we asked some of these players to play, and they for whatever reason did not want to play. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but
Yeah.
I know some invitations went out that were not accepted as they were
Yeah,
globally.
it happens.
The interesting thing is, and we'll put a bow on this, but that was like a beautiful part of being an African American fan of the WBC. And then there was this other part that went along with it that I really had trouble kind of digesting and fully understanding. And it came from two sides. There were a lot of um, African American fans that wanted to be really quick to say these international players don't consider themselves black. And so
Hmm.
that was it, that we joke around about I'm not, you're so no black, I'm
Right.
Dominican. But there was a lot of that was coming from our side or the American side
Hmm.
in the comments to say, for whatever reason, they wanted to point out that
Hmm.
there was a separation that American fans felt or even perceived. It almost was like the American fans were pushing this on
Yes.
the Dominican fan, where there was
Right.
a ton of Dominican and Venezuela fans in my comments saying, "Oh man, we don't, we're not. That's not what it's about. We
Right.
want to be cheering." But the American fans were like, "No, no, 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 no. There's colorism, racism, all of
Right.
that happens in the Dominican Republic, and we know." So it was really, again, there was a lot of beauty in kind of embracing the global, like when you look as a global citizen of the
Hmm.
diaspora and being black. But again, I think this might be given the historical context of African Americans and being black in America. They were like, that's where I heard the majority of, oh
Hmm.
no, they don't rock with us. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what? Like, I get it. I understand where it was coming from, but it was almost like they were pushing the narrative in the comment
Mhm.
that was like, well, a lot of the Latin, Afro Latino fans were like, no, let's do this the right way. And so I know, I don't want to go into a whole psychoanalysis
Yeah.
of it, but I did find that part of the WBC fandom very kind of uncomfortable to deal with
Yes.
because I wanted to be like, yo, like, we're all in this together. And I felt like it was more the African American side of
Yes.
fandom that was like, no, we're not in all this together.
Yeah, I think it comes from a place of I mean, historically, we've had in the past certain players what maybe comment on that whole subject on how African American players are perceived as opposed to Afro Latino players are perceived or how they perceive themselves. But I think true like watchers of the game can kind of see
Right.
it and I think I guess the true success about colonialism is that it divided us in that way.
Yes.
You know, that
Yes.
it's
We're gonna
successful. They
change
did
the
a good
whole
job.
podcast. But no, but in April, you know this too. If we were having that conversation and Bob Kendrick from the Negro League Museum was here, he would also champion the relationship
Hmm.
between African American players and Latino players and Afro
Right.
Latino players. Like that is what it was all about. I also feel like you were saying it was a lot of fans of the game that don't understand the history of the game
That.
that
Yes.
Hmm.
was like,
Yes.
they're not with us. You know what I mean?
I'm
And you're
like,
like,
yeah. Read a
that's
quote from
uncomfortable because
Roberto
again, I
Clemente.
do,
Read.
yeah, I think you're wrong.
I also think that there were a lot of people who were taking what they experienced personally and applying
Hmm.
it to the game.
Sure.
And for us, we don't see because we watch the sport all the time. It's not a I don't want to completely diminish and say that it's not a factor, but in that particular instance, like we root for all of the players, whether they're Venezuelan, whether they're Dominican Republic, whether they're whoever, and it's mostly because from a cultural aspect, the spirit of the countries. That's what we represent, and I
No, you
think a
said it
lot of
well.
people miss that part that our spirits are interconnected. It's the excitement, and I think that's what really made us so excited to see Nicaragua and to see Dominican Republic and to see Venezuela and Puerto Rico react the way that they did for embracing and representing their countries. So this is not to take anything away from how people experience in their everyday lives, but the reality of the situation is too, we are interconnected in a lot of ways, and a lot of these players, they do support and ensure that our who we are protected as well. So
no, very well said. Very well said. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Black Baseball Mixtape. This is our big prediction show. Before we get to the predictions, there's one other quick topic we want to discuss, and we will discuss it quicker. Jersey numbers. One of my favorite topics. Jersey sale numbers, which gauges, as you will, the global popularity of the game. So have been released. They were released today for Major League Baseball, the official jersey sales from the end of the World Series to opening day. And they released the top 20 names. We won't go through all 20, but there are some surprises on this list, and I want to get some of your reaction to it. No surprise at the top. For the third year in a row, Shohei Ohtani is the number one selling jersey. I don't even know if it's third of all. Like, he's the number one selling jersey globally, locally, in my mama's basement, anywhere. Shohei Ohtani is him, and he sells like no other cash cow in Major League Baseball. So congratulations to the Dodgers there. However, the Dodgers are not done by any stretch of the imagination. The number 2 selling jersey is a guy by the name of Yamamoto.
Wow.
Yamamoto is number 2 of jersey sales since the end of the World Series to opening day. Now, I'm not surprised, but they're going to do the default and say it's because, and it is, the international markets, Japanese baseball fans are just, super fans. They probably already have 6 Ohtani jerseys now. They've got World Series MVP Yamamoto. They've got his jersey as well. Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised. Really quickly, anybody surprised at Yamamoto being number 2?
I'm surprised he's that high, but I knew that he would be in top 5. But I'll give credit to exactly what Yamamoto did in that postseason too, because I think a lot of people as well, especially people who are fans of the sport, they want that collector's jersey for future whatever. So people aren't just buying because we're not expecting them because they're Dodger fans or what have you. There are a lot of people who buy jerseys because it's a moment that they want to commemorate down the line.
Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised at all. That's like April said, he made history. This guy pitched back-to-back games. And the very fact that Yoshinobu Yamamoto is like this international figure, probably was I don't think we as American fans can really fathom how good he was in Japan and how already, of a star he was there. And for him to just spread that stardom to America and to win the World Series with the Dodgers, it just kind of automatically makes him number 2 because he was the MVP.
Right.
Well, let's make a quick jump because of the top 20, by my count here, I think I'm counting correctly, there are 5 Dodgers on the list, the most of any team. I'm not surprised by that, but let me just quickly go down. Ohtani 1, Yamamoto 2, Mookie Betts number 5, Freddie Freeman number 7, and then here's where it might be a little bit of surprise. Kike Hernandez at number 12.
Not surprised.
That's not a surprise.
Oh, not surprised.
He is a beloved Dodger in Los Angeles with a large Hispanic population that will be, and I'm a huge Kike fan as well. But Kike Hernandez is I think he's number 12, and that is the 5 Dodgers. Here's a question for you that I am surprised about. This is, I think, the first year since I've been tracking. 0 Houston Astros on the list.
Okay, so 0. I was like, no Altuve?
Not surprised.
0 Houston Astros on the list. In the top 20. Surprising. So, no, yep. Now, I will tell you this, though. I told you guys, we've been doing the podcast long enough for you guys to remember us talking about this. there was a time where Altuve,
Right.
Tucker, Bregman, and I don't even maybe a pitcher was on there, and I was
Correa
surprised.
used to sell a lot of jerseys when he played here,
And
like the first time.
I was surprised at the number of Astros in the top 20, and you guys were like, no, no, no,
It's crazy.
Astro fans show out. What is the matter with the Astro fans right now? What's
I can
happening?
speak on that. It's not the Astros fans. I think it's actually something right with the Astros fans. We're a
They
lot
already
more
got all the
realistic.
jerseys.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have a lot of Altuve jerseys. I
Right,
have
right,
maybe two or three or four.
right,
He's been with us so long, a lot of us don't even remember when he hasn't been here.
right.
And
Right.
so I think that we're wanting to get excited about a new jersey. And there hasn't been a player quite yet that has stayed that we could be excited about other than Jordan, but he's, slipping and sliding on home plate sometimes and hurting his ankles and his knees. And so I think the Astros fans are just really kind of realistic about what's going on this season.
Mhm.
And we have to get behind somebody. Is it Cam Smith? Is it
Right.
going to be Bryce Matthews? Is it going to be Pena? Is Pena even going to stay? Is
Right.
it Hunter Brown? So I think that at this moment, you see the Dodgers, they got a lot of guys they know they're going to stick around. They know
Sure.
that Kike's somehow going to be back, even if he's in an advisory role. Mookie's going to be there forever. Yoshinobu Yamamoto's going to be there forever. There's no jersey to buy if you don't know if a guy's going to stay over 6 years.
That's a good
Cal,
point.
Cal Tucker will probably be on the list sometime
You,
this season.
mm-hmm.
So okay, so we'll go through quickly. I'll stop on a couple, but no surprise. Aaron Judge is number 3.
Of
No
course.
surprise
Mm-hmm.
there. Good for Cal Riley. He's number 4. Um, you know, lovable guy overall. Switch hitting, historic year. So good for Cal Riley. We talked about Mookie Betts at 5. Here's one that I think is a surprise. You guys tell me if you're surprised that Nolan Arenado Diamondbacks jersey is number 6.
No, I'm not surprised.
Ooh.
I'm completely surprised.
I
No,
think it just looks
because
cold. It looks so cold,
number
they
one,
have
yeah,
really good jerseys.
that it looks cold, but I think we really underestimate the Puerto Rican fandom and even just the fandom of Nolan Arenado. He's been in the league for a long time, and so a lot of that fandom is like it carries on. Like I talk about Manny Machado at third base, but don't get it twisted. I still be looking at the plays that Nolan do as well. So I think that a lot of people are excited to see what he's going to bring to Arizona. But I will tell you, being at the WBC and watching him play that Saturday, he had a lot of support from
Mm,
the Puerto Rican community as
Sure.
well.
that's a
I,
good point.
I'm just surprised. I'm surprised. And here's the thing I don't necessarily know. I kind of look at jersey sales like I do like baseball cards, where I
Mhm.
feel like in many ways the hype sells more than the actual on field performance. And Nolan is like you said, Nolan is more of a on field guy. That's a good player, but there's a lot of good players. So I'm surprised that he sold because I have not seen firsthand, and I could be wrong. I don't follow the Cardinals or the Diamondbacks enough to see like the wide sweeping, you know, Arenado fan base. So I mean,
He
like
does.
you're
I think
probably
he's
right about. I mean, he's
I
clearly the data says it. He's number 6.
yeah.
Um,
He might be becoming like a cult classic like Joey
yeah,
Votto. You know
yeah,
how like
um,
people like it didn't matter if Joey Votto was
right.
like Joey Votto.
yeah, yeah.
It's he's that guy now. He's like the Evan Longorias, those guys that are just good enough to be in the league at that age and they're like better than a lot of guys. But they're just gonna have that like consistent, I guess,
And
And
let
in
me
the
support.
also say, from a
yeah,
woman's perspective, on
Uh-oh.
TikTok, he's on a lot of the top 5 faves list
sure.
for good-looking guys. So that also plays a factor because when women go to buy jerseys, they want to buy a jersey for a guy who's very attractive. And if he's ranking in all these women's posts, then yeah, that's going to play a factor in his
That
jersey sales as
that
well.
puts him up there.
Where's
And it
Jeremy
does help.
Pena ranked?
It does help that he changed teams. The changing teams thing does kind of spike a New Jersey sale from into the World Series to opening day. Speaking of that, Freddie Freeman was 7, but Pete Alonso, Baltimore Orioles jersey, is number
Mm,
8.
Yeah,
And
that's
that, I
it.
mean, I think that's solely because he switched teams.
Mhm.
hmm
The Oriole fans want to get behind Pete Alonso in the middle
hmm
of that lineup. They don't know what he's going to do, but we'll see.
I think they
Uh,
know. 30 home runs. 100 RBIs, 40 home
Here's
runs.
two that I'm not surprised about, but they're also new to the list and fairly new to Major League Baseball. Roman Anthony at number 9. And
Oh
I
yeah,
just think that he took the world by storm, and even his play in the WBC. I mean, he's a starting
Right,
right fielder in the WBC.
right,
he's
And
good.
again, I don't even before that, because I mean, WBC was just like a week ago, so that doesn't
right,
really count from the end. But he came in at the end of last season or middle of the
right.
season and was just the
Dog.
best player on the Red Sox. So the
Right,
best player on the Red Sox is usually going to sell a lot of jerseys.
Right.
The other guy, PCA. PCA just got their extension. He also played on Team
mhm.
USA, but he's also like he's the guy where the young guys like.
Yes,
They like the young guys. My son who's 11, Ronald Acuna, PCA, Max Clark in the chains. These are the guys that they like, and it's kind of funny because even to an 11-year-old, it's kind of almost hard to believe this. Aaron Judge and Otani are kind of old. No, they're kind of like old.
yeah.
They're the old guys now.
Oh man.
Oh, Ronald Acuna is still you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
he's throwing the grenade and doing the PCA, the Roman Anthony. I would say Acuna's still in that the younger tier, but like both Otani and Judge are over
Unk.
30.
That's Unk.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They're unk status. So
I
speaking
think
of that,
also with Roman Anthony, like I just heard his name a lot the second half of that season.
yeah,
And
it was
so
Mm-hmm.
Red Sox fans go crazy, but when you hear that name and you're not even prone to baseball a lot, like I can see that jersey sale. I will say I'm very surprised Bobby Witt is not in the top 10.
Bobby Witt is
I'm
not in
not
the
too
top.
surprised.
Bobby Witt is not in the top 20.
Yeah, I'm more surprised. I mean, Roman Anthony just has that look too.
He
That I'm gonna
does.
whoop your butt look.
He has that
And
look too. So
But
yeah.
now that you mention it, I am surprised Bobby Witt's not in the top 20. He's not in the top. You said
Hmm.
he's not in the top 10. He's not in the top 20.
that's
So that
I don't
insane.
want
that
to
is
say anything about Kansas City's fan base or like, is it just the city not buying enough jerseys or?
probably because Bobby Witt is that dude. I bet you if you
Yeah.
looked at who sold more Team USA jerseys, Bobby Witt would be high. Like Aaron Judge
Mm-hmm.
would be 1, but
Yeah.
Bobby Witt would be up there.
My
Two.
dad said
Maybe Cal Raleigh.
my dad said too, we have to remember that he's not on TV a lot. So when you don't hear that name often, it's easy to forget who people are. Because I was like, Daddy, Bobby Witt just showing out in the WBC. My daddy was like, this is nothing new. Like he does this all the time. And I'm
Yep.
like, but I don't get to watch him all the time. So and I'm thinking like for me, somebody who watches, baseball all the time, if I'm not getting that regular recognition of it, then I'm sure for someone else, that's probably also a factor.
That is true. All right, so let's quickly go through the rest of the top 10 and I'll tell you well, like we don't really have to really stop. I'll just tell you who's a surprise. After PCA at 10, Schwarber's at 11. He's the top Philly. We talked about Kike at 12. Harper's at 13. Juan Soto Mets jersey is at 14.
Mm.
Vladdy Jr.'s at 15. Lindor's at 16. Acuna's at 17. Paul Skeens is at 18. I would say that group, the Soto, Vlad Jr., Lindor, Acuna, Skeens group, to me is a surprise that they're so low.
Right.
And I
100%.
do
I
think it
agree.
is a direct reflection of it being in the offseason, them
Yeah.
not changing teams. You know what I mean? Like, again, the Roman Anthony might have a big pop or somebody that switches a team, Pete Alonso at 8. I think overall, that group, that Lindor, Soto, Vladdy, Acuna, they still sell a lot of jerseys. like,
Hmm.
Mhm.
so, 19 and 20, huge surprise. Josh Naylor for the Mariners is at 19. J Rod, by the way, is not on the list. Christian Yelich is 20.
That's not surprising to me. The
Christian
ladies
Yelich
love
over,
Christian.
I am completely surprised because
That does not surprise me.
Yelich, again, though, a guy that did not switch a team. He's been with the Brewers a very long time. And, you mentioned names. There are names that we would mention that I feel like would be way more popular than Yelich. So
Right. I will say
any
that.
of the Astros. I'm like, I'm surprised Altuve wouldn't sell more than Yelich.
Another
Well,
thing about
maybe
Arenado that I noticed is that he's going back to his original division, in his
yes.
original region, the mountains, the West. You
Mhm.
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
those mountain people
A good
love
point.
love them some Arenado.
They do.
There you go. All right. Well, do we want to put a bow on the top 20 jersey sales? Anybody? Any last words before we start April with our predictions for 2026?
No, I'm just ready to get into this prediction. Let's see exactly where everybody is landed.
Let's do this one more time. Just a pause for the cause. This is the Black Baseball Mixtape, brought to you in partnership with the Players Alliance, Minority Prospects, and Numbers Game Scorecards. It is that time, drum roll please, that everybody is waiting on. We are going to solve the 2026 Major League Baseball season and hopefully less than the next hour. we are going we are going to fly through who we think is going to win the World Series, the divisions, and the awards. And for that distinct honor, I will turn it over to the host of 10th Inning Talk, all about April.
Hey everyone. So, what we are going to do is we are going to start with the NL Central. All right. And I know some of y'all are like, oh my gosh, why was I with the NL Central? Well, NL Central is for real baseball fans. So I think that it would be great for us to begin there. And the teams representing the NL Central are the Milwaukee Brewers, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Chicago Cubs, the Cincinnati Reds, and the Pittsburgh Pirates. So, my question to y'all is who do you think will be taking the NL Central? Who is your number one pick? We're going to start with you, Cheats.
The sexy pick from 2026 is the Cubs. I think everybody thinks the Cubs are going to win. And this is what I say to that. Until you beat the Brewers, I'm not picking against the Brewers. So I've got Churios, Contreras, Mizorowski, and the boys. Book it. Brewers win the Central.
And
Second that,
Yelich.
yep, the Brewers are winning the Central, and it's because of how much pitching they have. They got guys in AAA ready to go, and they got guys on the major league roster. Brewers.
And they also have a really, really great manager too.
Mhm.
So I was talking about this with my dad. My dad was like Brewers. I'm like, well, Dad, what about the Cubs? He was like, what about them?
Wow.
So I am gonna go though with the sexy pick, which is the Chicago Cubs. I think that they made some great moves this off season. And right now, I feel like it's really hard to root against exactly what they have going on. For me, it's always like, what is the pitching going to look like? Pitching can always change, but I'm gonna stick with my Cubs pick for now.
I like it. I like it.
We want to get Flobo's pick too.
Yeah, just tell us what Flobo's was.
Flobo also chose the Cubs.
Awesome, awesome.
There we go. All
All
right,
right.
got it down. Marked. Booked.
So let's hop on over to the NL East, which the teams are the Atlanta Braves, the New York Mets, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Washington Nationals, and the Miami Marlins. Who do you have taking the NL East? Malik, we're going to start with you this time.
This one is too hard,
What?
but I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna give it to the Metropolitans. I'm gonna give it to the Mets.
Oh.
I don't want to
God, Peralta
be
looked really good today.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy that's always saying the Mets, LOL Mets. They have a legitimately good team and they have Juan Soto, so I'm going with the Mets.
Mhm. All right. Cheats, who do you have taking the NL East?
So here's the thing. The Phillies won the division last year by 13 games.
Did.
With that said, the Mets had obviously a historic collapse.
Yes.
Like the worst collapse in all of baseball. Here's the issue. The Braves are going to be better. The Braves are 20 games out at the end of last year.
Are
Braves are
they?
going to be better. The Marlins are going to be better. And I
Hmm.
just don't know if the Nats can squeeze out more than 66 wins like they did last year. Somebody's going to have to falter. and I just don't think it's going to be the Phillies. Um, Sanchez looks great. Wheeler's going to come back. They wind up, I think extending Lazardo.
And
Lazardo.
Nola.
Yeah, again, very much. I hate to be this guy, but very much like the Brewers, you're gonna have to beat the Phillies for me to be like the Phillies are beatable. So book it, Phillies.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give Fogo's pick first because Fogo, of course, chose his New York Nets to take the NL East. And I think you brought up a great point about the Phillies. Still, y'all know I do not have any faith in the Braves, and especially with the Braves having a brand new manager. Braves also have some issues with pitching. Yes, some issues with pitching. They have the health issues. I don't know who actually is going to be on the field with the Braves, so I can't account for them right now. I think with the moves that the Mets made, I actually forgot that they picked up Bo Bichette as well. And that is what led me to choose the Mets as my pick for the NL East.
Love it, love it.
So
They got a legitimate ace right now, and they
they
looked
do.
amazing today. And
They do.
McLean's gonna look good, and Clay Holmes might put it together. We don't know.
And Devin Williams. Isn't he there too?
Okay, that's where that's all I'm gonna say. I gotta be I gotta be pro. I gotta be positive.
All
Hey man, he's
right.
great. He's
He
awesome.
is.
That
He
strikeout
is.
rate is amazing. He's gonna do his thing.
He is. New environment.
Yeah, he's
Mm-hmm.
you know how relievers are. It's up and down, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm gonna let y'all wait. Yeah, you might be your pick for comeback player of the year.
That's who I am.
Y'all better leave. All right, now
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the Devin Williams truther here.
Yeah,
All right,
keep it
y'all.
going. Keep it going.
On to the NL West, my favorite division, the best division in Major League Baseball. We have the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Diego Padres, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the San Francisco Giants, and the Colorado Rockies. I'm going to start off with Flobo's pick. He has my Los Angeles Dodgers taking the NL West. I too have the Los Angeles Dodgers taking the NL West. Cheats, who do you
Dodgers.
have taking?
Dodgers.
Can we skip this section?
No, I got the Dodgers, and Dave Roberts said something in the pregame interview today that is kind of scary. He said that he thinks that this is the
I saw
best
that.
Dodgers lineup that
Since 20
roster that he's had since like 01 or I mean, what was it like
2021.
21?
Yep.
Yeah, and again, Dave Roberts isn't a man that's like overly speaking in like hyperbole. I think he really believes that, and if he believes it, I probably believe it. So yeah, Dodgers for me.
I also want to say something before I get to Malik. I was watching, they're going to have this close up on Spectrum of the Dodgers with Edwin Diaz joining the team. But when they were in the clubhouse, they were having a team meeting. Dave Roberts was like, "Yeah, Eddie Diaz, tell us why you joined." And so he's sitting down, hoodie down like this, and he's like, "You know why I joined?" Dave's like, "Stand up!" And then he like kind of jumps up, stands up, and then he starts speaking. I've never heard Dave Roberts speak with that level of assertiveness, but I thought it was interesting that the players responded so positively to him in the dugout in the way that they did. But also, yeah, it was just a level of deference that was shown. I hope y'all are able to see it, and if I can find the clip, I'm going to send it to y'all. But that also let me know exactly kind of the energy and why we see what we see on the field in regards to them. So that also is why I chose my pick. So, but Malik, who you got?
All right, we're picking the Dodgers. Let's go to the next division.
I'm with you.
Yeah, they're good. They're
It's
just so
not. Yeah,
good.
it's not like it's a sexy conversation to have. The Dodgers are the best team in baseball on paper.
Yeah, on
I gotta tell
paper.
you,
until
it's gotta
somebody
be.
proves
Otherwise, I don't
They
want to
themselves.
be the
won. They won
contrarian.
back-to-back World Series too, so it's like,
It's not. It's not even. It just you just look weird by
Yes.
just.
yeah,
I'm not gonna. I'm
you're
not
just
gonna be
being.
accused of
At that
just
point, you're being
being.
contrarian for
Yeah,
contrarian's sake.
not doing that this time.
All right, well, we are moving on to the AL Central, and I'm going to tell y'all this was one of the toughest divisions for me to be able to pick. And the teams in this league, this division, are the Cleveland Guardians, the Kansas City Royals, the Detroit Tigers, the Minnesota Twins, and the Chicago White Sox.
Ooh.
Malik, let's start off with you. Who are you taking with the AL Central?
I think that now that the Tigers have a rotation of
Mm,
pitchers that can pitch, not named Tarek Skubal. I think this is the year that they actually dominate the Central and not just, oh, they're cute, they can hit now,
right.
win the Central. I think this is the year they do it. They have a really good guy that came up. We might talk about him later. And I don't know. I think that they're looking like they're a more complete rotations of Tigers.
Yeah, they did pick up Framber Valdez as well.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I was meaning. It's just like they only had Tarek Skubal and kind of like a number five
mhm,
behind him, every or a swingman.
mhm,
They needed at least a number three, and they got them a legitimate ace, a
mhm.
co-ace, I would say, in Farmer Valdez. So the Tigers look a lot more legit this year than they did last season.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
no, I'll jump in there too because I'm picking the Tigers because they got better. The Tigers are one of there's not a lot of teams that got better. Believe it or not, the Dodgers got better. But the Tigers got better, and
Hmm.
they've got a legitimate rotation that can survive. I think a couple of series without if Skubal has to go out for if he goes on the 10-day IL, the world's not going to collapse anymore. They got enough pitching
Right.
to cover that. So yeah, it's for me. It's definitely and let's not forget how big of a lead the Tigers had last
Yes.
year. And the Guardians just were like the engine that could, the engine that could, the engine that could. They do get to the playoffs and they run out of gas, right? But it was really the Tigers to lose, and they didn't have the pitching to hold on to it. And I do think this year is different. I think the Tigers got better. So I'm going to go with the Tigers. I would not be surprised if the Royals win the division, but I'm going to go with the Tigers.
Mm.
Now, Flovo also has chosen the Tigers as his pick. So, three for the Tigers, and then me. I have gone back and forth with this one so much. Like, I called my dad, couldn't figure out who I wanted. I'm like, should I go with Cleveland? Because, Cleveland, they're a scrappy team. They know how to win late in the series, so forth. But then I'm like, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This is more of a heart pick for me, and my heart is telling me to pick the Royals this time.
You might
I
be
think
right.
Okay.
I think what especially with what we've seen, I'll say from the WBC, there were quite a few players who got some reps in pretty early, and I really liked what I saw. They also have good pitching, and I think that this just may be Kansas City's year to retake that throne of the AL Central. So that's who I'm rolling with.
No, I think you might be right. I think you're right. The
Yeah.
only thing that worries me about the Tigers is depth. I mean, the Royals is depth. I think they're a couple
Yes.
injuries away from just complete collapse. Where I think the Tigers can maintain some. I think the Tigers can maintain. I think the Guardians are not going to be as good.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I
They're
think
abusing
it'll be between the
Jose
Tigers and
Ramirez.
Yes.
yeah. I
Yes.
think it'll
Like, oh, you're
be.
gonna be good again at 35, right? They just keep rolling them out there with no help.
Bless his heart.
Yeah,
Bless his heart.
but
Now
yep.
let's go on to the AL West. The AL West, which consists of the Houston Astros, the Seattle Mariners, the champions of the AL West in 2025, the Texas Rangers, the A's, and the Los Angeles Angels. Well, I'm going to start off with Flobo, who has the Texas Rangers as
Mm.
taking the AL West this
I don't
year.
hate it.
Yeah, they definitely made some nice moves. They have Skip Schumacher as their brand new manager, so this definitely is a choice that is up there. I went back and forth between am I going with the Rangers or am I going with the Mariners? And ultimately, I chose the Mariners. I think that they may go back to back. Although I do think that this is a division where it's probably going to be one of those close. We won't find out till the very end again. Cheats. What do you have?
You know what? I don't think, based off of what I'm looking at, I don't think Kyle Riley has another season like last year in
Mm-hmm.
him this year, and I do think that was what him
Propelled them.
and well, him in the late season deadline moves, bringing back, getting Naylor, bringing back Eugenio Suarez.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they did everything right, and they've got great pitching. So I'm not mad at all at the Mariners pick. I would be surprised if the Rangers get there, but it's the AOS, so you never know. But in that category of you never know, every you're not going to kill the Astros, and I'm picking the Astros.
Okay.
Um, I just think that I do. I like the composite of the team that they have. If Pena, Altuve, Yordan Alvarez, Carrera, I love Cam Smith. Like I just like the team, and if they can get more, and they are going to
Mm-hmm.
have to get more, but if they can get more from Cam Smith, and if they can, if somebody like a Bryce Matthews becomes this year's Roman Anthony type player,
Right.
then I think they have a shot. But I, I'm gonna go with the Astros. I'd be very surprised if this falls off the cliff for Dana Brown and the crew. So
Okay.
Astros are my pick.
All right. And
Um,
Malik.
yeah. I'm gonna go with the A's. I'm gonna go with the A's.
What?
Oh, what?
And
Is it
yes, I'm
April
gonna go with the
Fool?
A's.
Okay,
The
tell
No,
us why.
Astros? Or
I'm
like
not.
A's for
This isn't
Astros?
AI. It's
A's for
not
Angel?
AI.
Like I just
No,
okay.
not
Yeah.
the Angels. Oh, the
What is
Angels will
happening?
finish last.
What is going on?
Here's what's going
April.
on. And I'm not being contrarian this time. Nick Kurtz came to Houston,
Yes.
took is it took it's like taking a he took a voodoo doll apart. That's how he did Houston. He took Houston apart. That offense cheats. I don't know if you've seen it in person. I don't know if you've had the time to look at how those guys hit. We can talk about pitching all we want. Those guys can hit with any team. Those guys
That's
can
true.
hit any pitcher. Those guys are about to enter their third and second years in Major League Baseball. And for me, the division, the West was so wild last year. The way
Mhm.
that the A's were hitting against all of these teams, I feel like they're gonna surprise us. And the reason why is because they have at least seven hitters that are gonna hit at least a 115 WRC plus. I mean, most of those hitters are gonna be 15% better than league average. You got Soderstrom, Langoliers, Law, Rooker. Those guys can
Forgot
hit.
about Rooker.
Yeah, we people forget about Rooker. People forget about the fact that they have a DeVries might be coming up. I don't think he's going to come up anytime soon, but maybe in September. The guy's a phenom. So maybe and the thing is that the Astros to me, they should not lose this division, but I saw something so catastrophic last year that I think anything's possible. So I'm
Hmm.
gonna have to give it to the A's. They just can I think they're the best hitting team in the AL West hands down.
Nice.
Even better than the Mariners. They hit better than the Mariners, and we can put player to player. They're I mean Julio, Cal, but other than that, who's hitting better on the Mariners than on the A's?
And didn't they have like two guys in the rookie of the year category last year as well?
Yeah, his team Kurtz took it away from Jacob Wilson,
Jacob Wilson. Yep.
and so I don't know. Those guys just hit so well. I know that was long, but
No.
I had to
You
explain
needed
it
to.
because it's
No, you
wild.
needed to explain yourself on that one.
I know, and
Even
that's
with a lot
why
of words, I'm still not buying.
I understand.
Uh, I will say this: Severino looked great in the WBC in regards
Did.
to health and velocity. So maybe he can be the ace that they were paying for. But I mean, the A's were 10 games better than the Nats last year, and this is where I think if you stack a team with young talent, which the A's have and some other
Hmm.
teams have, 162 games is a very long time for young talent to be good all season long. And I think that's where you see young, talented teams struggle, including the Orioles that were young and talented, a couple years ago. They were winning a lot of games. They took a step back. Yeah, I'll be interested to see. It's a great call. All right, April, go ahead.
All right, and we are heading into the last division in
Hardest
Major
division in
League
baseball.
Baseball. Yes, I left them for last. The American League East, which consists of the New York Yankees, Baltimore Orioles, Boston Red Sox, Tampa Bay Rays, and the Toronto Blue Jays. As a reminder, last year, not a single person chose the Blue Jays
Nope.
to take the
Dang.
division, and they took it just seamlessly. So let's see exactly how this is going to go this year as well, because all these teams, well, maybe not Tampa, made some great moves in this offseason. So, Malik, let's start with, well, actually, let's start with Flobo, who chose, this surprised me, the New York Yankees to take
Okay.
the AL East. Malik, who do you have with the AL East?
Flobo secretly likes the Yankees, but
Love them.
I'm
Love
going
them.
to yeah, he doesn't tell everybody that. But I am also going to go with the New York Yankees. I think they were number one in offense in some categories last year,
Mm-hmm.
and they definitely want to get back to the World Series. They got some guys named well, they have a guy in a contract year by the name of Jazz Chisholm, who I think is really trying to turn some heads this year, or put some M's in his pocket this
He wants to
year.
go 50-50, he said.
He wants
Yes.
to go 50-50, and so I'm going to pick the Yankees. They seem to be a little more hungry.
Because he made didn't he do 2020 last year, Jazz?
I think it was 30 for
30-30. Yeah.
30
Oh,
30.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So Malik and Flo will both have the Yankees. I'm going to tell y'all, I really struggled with this. I didn't struggle with who was at the bottom, but I struggled because I'm like, do I want Toronto? Do I think that they're going to be able to back it up again? Do I think the Yankees will? And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I just don't trust Aaron Boone to make the best decisions for me to go with that fully. Do I think Baltimore could possibly take it? And do I think Boston could do it? I think Boston made some excellent moves this offseason, but Boston is also Boston. And they do things, they just self inflict so much that it's really hard to choose them again. And I feel like initially that's where I wanted to go. But
Do it. Do it.
but I think with what I've seen with, I'm gonna go with Toronto. I'm gonna go with Toronto again. I don't know why. I just think that I'm just gonna. I've gone back and forth between Boston and Toronto. I want to be
Do
clear.
it. Do it.
Run it back.
I'm gonna do Boston. I'm gonna do Boston. I'm gonna do Boston because
Wait, is it
that was my first pick.
also is it Boston or Toronto?
She changed mid. She changed
I
mid
did.
show.
I changed
She
it.
went Toronto. Now she's going
Then
Boston.
I said, yeah.
She
I think
talked
I'm
Can
gonna say
herself.
Boston.
She
can you
talked herself
do
into Boston on the show. Is what happened here.
can
So
can we can we
let me
can you
also
give us
say,
like an explanation why that switch just
Do it.
happened
Do
mid?
it. Do.
so on
She
the
went with her
paper,
heart,
I wish
Malik.
I could show y'all. I had Boston here.
She
My
went with
dad
her
was
heart.
like, no, Toronto. And I'm like, oh, I don't trust, what is
Okay.
his name? Craig Breslow. I really don't trust him. I find him to be, I ain't gonna say it on
Why?
air. He's untrustworthy to me. Like he gives me
Mm.
like,
Okay.
I can't,
I'll
I just
say.
don't, yeah. So with that, that's kind of what gives me the ick about it. But I feel like Boston has one of the best outfields in
Mm,
that division and in Major League Baseball in general. And
mhm.
so that's kind of hard to defend. I do wonder what they're gonna look like without Bregman, but they've made some great pitching moves as well. So for me, I am, and even their picks for the draft, they had some excellent draft picks. Didn't they pick up Kyson Weatherspoon? They picked up the pitcher from
Yeah,
LSU.
but those are years away.
Yeah,
That's
they're
Yeah,
years
they
away,
need
but
some
I'm
more
saying
time.
they're making
that's
decent moves right now. So that's kind of what's giving me the
That they'll win the division this year.
yeah. I go with
But I
your
do like
heart.
Crochet.
Go with
Crochet
your
Yeah.
might win
heart,
Cy Young.
April. Go with
Yeah.
your heart.
It's Boston.
There you
Oh,
go.
Oh, Boston.
your heart bleeds red.
I
Oh
can't.
no.
Well, I mean, that's my last name, so I mean, I'm kind of going with that too. But yes,
Okay.
There
do
you
you know
go.
how hard it was for me to pick that too? Just wanted to let y'all
We
know.
just
You
saw
know, I
it.
don't.
We just saw it in
Yeah.
real time.
Yeah, that's hard. I needed you to
Uh,
explain it, but I appreciate that.
but I
All
well,
right, Chief.
yeah,
We know who you got.
I'm going with the Red Sox, and I'll tell you why.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah, Derek Crochet, Sonny
Not the
Gray,
birds.
Crochet, Gray, Ranger Suarez is
Okay, that
pitching
I
4.
rotation
forgot
is
about Ranger
nasty.
Suarez. Yes, yes, yes.
Brian Bellows is pitching 5 for them.
Dang.
They still have Whitlock and Chapman closing games.
Yep.
That is why I am picking the Red Sox to win the division. The Orioles will be better. I don't think they're going to be first place in the division.
Okay.
I think the Yankees are going to be worse.
I do.
And I do think,
Whoa.
yep, and I think that that's the move. The Red Sox get the division at the end of the day. That's where I
Why
am.
would the Yankees be worse? I'm sorry. Why would they be
I
worse?
would say too, those decisions that they made with Jason Dominguez and who was the other player that they sent down? They
Luis
sent 2
Hill.
players. Yes, Luis
They
Hill.
sent down Luis Hill. No,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
he didn't have a
He was
spot,
hurt.
and
Yeah.
he didn't have a
That's
spot,
okay.
and he
That
was
yeah,
pitching
it's not
poorly in
like
spring
a
training.
okay.
But no, I mean, I do. I think that they're coming off a World Series 2 years ago. They're coming off that kind of end of the year push with the Blue Jays. Then obviously having Blue Jays knock them out of the playoffs pretty brutally.
Dang.
Mhm.
True.
I think it's gonna, I think as always with the Yankees is gonna come down to health. And the question is, do I trust the Yankees to stay healthy all season? I was told Stanton couldn't even open a
I was
Coke
just about to
bottle
say it.
Yes.
2 days ago.
Shout out to Stanton. This guy
So
is literally like he's like one of those comic book characters that got his arms replaced with like metal arms or something. Like I don't know
yeah,
how he's able to just continue
so
to
so
play in pain
I
like
mean,
this.
again, Jazz had a tremendous year. I mean, if you look at what happened to the Yankees last year, especially offensively, Jazz Chisholm has a career year, like, the 30-30 offense.
Mhm.
Trent Grisham hit over 30 home runs. He had a career
Right.
year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think that's going to keep up? Do you think they're going to all of the
Ooh,
guys that needed to have career years had them?
yeah,
And again,
that's tough.
I think it's going to be tough, man. And I think that Red Sox rotation is really, really, really good.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I do think the Orioles will be better. I think the Rays will be competitive. Like, I think the AL East is the best division in baseball. The Rays are nothing to sneeze at all. But I think the Red Sox pitching is going to
Mhm.
be, and I like the dude that was on Venezuela, Willie, is it Willie Abreu?
Oh yeah,
William
William
Abreu.
Abreu. William
Yeah,
Abreu.
I like him.
Wow.
I like him a
The
lot.
Astros traded him for Christian
And
Vasquez many years ago.
I think
And
Rafaelo is going to be good
yep.
this year.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I think they've got some good players, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're setting up
So,
nice.
Yeah.
all right, moving along. Those are all the divisions, right?
Yes,
That
those
was
are
that
the
was quick,
divisions.
y'all. We did good.
Yes.
We did good.
Yes.
What's next?
So now we are going to head into the other category. And the other category and things to watch for. So this is going to be Cy Young, comeback player, MVP. And let's start off with those. Who do you have for your National League Cy Young pick? I'm going to start with Flobo. He has Nolan McLean.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. Why is everybody I'm not trying to hate on Nolan, but this is like it's like he pitched like 15 innings and they were really great innings, but like he's a kid. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to dunk on
No,
Flobo. But I think he's good, but I'm like, dang, this guy's a rookie. I don't know if he has
Right.
that same kind of I don't know. Let me not dunk.
Does he have enough dog in him to be a
Yeah,
Cy Young?
I mean, like Paul Skeens was like, this guy can win a Cy Young tomorrow
Yes.
because even through college, but like Nolan McLean kind of came out of nowhere. Just saying.
Okay.
But I guess while I was talking, I guess I could pick a Cy Young pick for the NL. I'm gonna pick Yuri Perez. I'm gonna pick Yuri Perez from the Marlins. Really good stuff, guys. He has some of the best pitches I've ever seen. Just really good command as well. His ERA doesn't really show it, but if you look at his walks and hits per nine, or like his ability to miss bats and able to get whiffs, is just really incredible. I think he's going to take a big leap, and it's really hard to hit balls out in Miami. So I'm going with Yuri.
Okay, great. Cheats, who you
Give
got?
me. Hey, look, if I'm gonna stay true to the Phillies winning that division, Christopher Sanchez is gonna
Ooh.
be the guy for most of the season. Even when Willa comes back, I think Sanchez is gonna be the ace of that roster. I'm going with Sanchez.
Okay.
Good pick.
And this is not just because he's my player. I truly believe that it is Yamamoto's turn to win this award. So I have Yama
He's number
as,
2 in the odds behind Paul Skeens.
yeah,
I feel
I
like
have
he's a
Yama.
little hurt. Not hurt, like I feel like he's gonna be a little stretched out. Don't you think he pitched a lot, guys?
I
Like,
do.
oh my
I do.
goodness, that's a lot to ask of him, but
I do.
he
He
has
a
the
dog.
ability.
He does. He
He
does.
did it in
And
the
that's why
World
I'm gonna roll
Series.
with
I
it.
can't
Yeah.
doubt him.
Now, who is your comeback player for Flobo? He has Garrett Cole of the New York Yankees. And this is kind of reinforcing your statement, Malik, a little bit.
Is this for the AL?
This is for the, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, this is who did
I mean, I
I'm
guess we
sorry.
can.
Comeback player. I'm sorry. I am doing wrong. Comeback player. He has Andrew McCutchen.
Oh my goodness.
He has Andrew McCutchen, and I will say I have Devin Williams. I have Devin Williams.
And he's in the National League.
He's in the National
he's
League.
on. He's on the Mets.
That's the
Yeah.
National League, right?
Yes. Yes.
Andrew McCutcheon's in the American League, right? How are we doing this? Is it just
I'm
one
sorry.
person?
You're right. I'm reading what he put Garrett Cole for the NL. My bad. So we just gonna ignore
He
that.
thinks he's a Met. I told you he secretly likes the
Garrett Cole, he
Yankees.
put that. All right, so we just ignore that. But for
He's on
me,
vacation, y'all.
Maybe
I
we should
had
just pick one player.
Yeah, maybe we all, because I don't.
It's too hard to do the divisions.
okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
let's pick one for this one. Maybe
All
this
right, so
is a
for
little bit
one,
easier.
Garrett. Well, for football, we'll just do Garrett, Andrew, and for me, I have Devin Williams. Devin, I had Devin and Mookie Betts, but Devin Williams for sure. I think he's gonna reclaim himself as what we remember him as in that setup role, and yeah, he's gonna do well in that Mets organization.
That's a
Different
good pick.
environment.
Yeah, I like that pick, April, especially with closers. We've seen closers have blow up years. We've seen closers have sparkling years. So I really do. I do believe in. I'm a Devin Williams believer. Um, okay, cheats. All right, I'm going to stop it. You stop that. I'm going to pick. Oh my
What
God,
are we
I'm
doing?
picking Mike Trout. I'm picking
What are we
Mike
doing?
Trout, baby,
Father
because
Oh.
Time's a good one.
I'm gonna have to pick Mike Trout because
He went yard
he's
today. He went yard
he
today.
What?
I'm
Okay,
saying Mike
Mike.
Trout is not as hurt as people think he is. He has freak accidents. He's like a very nice car that gets small bumps, then you gotta and they're expensive to fix. It's not like he has like
Very
a
good.
engine issue that you always like. My Honda has an engine issue. It's in the shop right now. I have to keep it fixed. You already know it. Like players with back issues, you know they're gonna have them.
Yeah.
That's like a Christian Yelich. You know the issue. Take
Yes.
it to the
Yes.
shop. Mike Trout is that luxury car that just always has a scratch, a ding, a broken window, broken tail light. If he just stays off the road bumps and stop hitting the potholes, he's gonna have a great year. Mike Trout.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna
Cheese.
say my MVP from last year that didn't pay it out, Adley Rushman.
That's a great pick.
That is a good pick. I like
huge.
that pick.
He has a huge comeback here. So Adley Rushman, my guy, I got you.
And I think it's going to be because of ABS. He's going to get a lot of calls for him.
He's
I
a
think
genius.
that I think
He's a genius.
Okay. All right. Moving on to MVP. Let's start off with the National League. Flobo had, unfortunately, Shohei.
Is that what he wrote? Unfortunately.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I am going to say same. I think it's Shohei until somebody dethroned and go with Shohei as well. Cheats, who do you have for the NL MVP?
That's the question. The question is there even a person that even shows up? Like, do the odds just say Shohei Otani and no one else? Or is there a person for the National League that they would actually say could be? Let me just tell you guys, Shohei Otani by far the odds-on favorite. Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna, Tatis, Ellie. Those are the next guys in line. The only person that has, I believe, a chance would be Soto and
I
Acuna.
agree. Those are
Hmm.
my
However,
two.
however, Shohei's back to doing the Shohei thing. He's going to be pitching in the rotation. He's leading off still. He just makes it look effortless. It's Otani. It's going to be
Okay.
Otani again. He's the greatest thing we've ever seen on a baseball field.
Hmm.
Okay.
I think there's you listed some players that can compete with Shohei. You have, Ronald Acuna with speed and power with the stolen bases.
Mhm.
I think personally, maybe if Ellie hits more, he has the speed and the power to do it. And I think it might be Michael Lorenzen because he's the only maybe possible two-way player and he plays in Colorado. And then it's Shohei. So it's gonna be Shohei
Yeah.
because Shohei, if
Yeah.
we're playing the war games like
Yeah.
baseball has been playing, we've always playing the war games. If he's not hitting, he's gonna be pitching. If he's not
Yep.
pitching, he's gonna be hitting. So it's
Mhm.
impossible to take it from a guy who's doing it both. So doing both sides of the ball. So it's gonna be Shohei's to win. Or
Yeah.
Shohei's to
Okay.
lose, actually.
Okay. Now on to the American League. For the American League MVP, Flovo has chosen Bobby Witt Jr. as his pick. So I'm going to start with you, Malik. Who do you have as your MVP for the AL?
Can I just say,
Okay.
though,
Yeah, go
Malik?
ahead.
No, no, no. I'm just going to say Malik. Based off of what you've already said, I think I know who your pick has to be. Because go ahead, continue on.
I don't know. I was gonna go. I guess I was gonna go with the easy pick because
Judge?
it's Judge, but
My thought
there
is, if the Athletics are going to win the division, it has to be Nick Kurtz.
he doesn't play enough of a defensive position
I was
for me
like,
to even
it has to be an
consider handing
Athletic.
it to him. I know I can't do that because we have like the second coming of like Frank Thomas in
If
the
it, hey,
outfield with
hey,
with with Judge. So it's like
Right.
we have like a right-handed Barry Bonds. I can't even compare to anyone to Barry, but just like this guy is
Right.
just until we take it from him. Even even when he had the sombrero yesterday, he could still run off and have four more sombreros this year and still win MVP. So I'm going with Judge,
Okay. All right.
not Kurtz.
Cheats. Who you got?
this is probably recency bias because I'm still riding high from Miami and the wonderful Dominican Republic team. I am going to pick Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Ooh.
Ooh, contact king.
Dude, he's got paid. He's locked in. He's doing everything he needs to do. I'm going Vladdy.
Okay.
Love it.
I will say I had two picks. My two picks were
Oh,
Judge and Bobby Wood Jr.
do
But
they have
it's
they done that before
no, they haven't
in history ever? Has there ever
a
been a
co
co-MVP?
MVP.
Yeah, has
I
there
don't
been one?
remember. I don't think
I
so.
feel like that would be a historical marker.
I
Like we would
do.
know.
Right. But for me, I think I'm going to say the same thing that I feel with Shohei. I'm going to have to give the edge to Judge until we see otherwise. But do I think Bobby Witt is probably right on that list and could very well get it? Absolutely. But I'm going to give the edge to Judge for now. Yes. So there were a couple things that I did have as well. I don't know if y'all want to do them, but I had what do you think is the biggest surprise, biggest disappointment,
Mhm.
and manager of the year, possibly?
I like that.
All right. So, what would be your biggest surprise of it doesn't even have to be related to National League or American League. What would be your biggest surprise or biggest shock? It could be player or team related.
Hmm.
Let's start off with you, Cheats.
I'll be quick. I think the biggest surprise is we're gonna find out that the umpires are not as bad as we think they are. I think
Mm.
ABS is gonna be great, but I also think that the umpires are gonna be better than we think they are. Um, I think manager of the year just because I picked the Red Sox to win the toughest division in baseball, so I'm gonna go with Alex Cora there. Pleasant surprise. I'm gonna say I'm hoping somebody's gonna have to be bad. It's baseball. But I am hoping that the White Sox, the Nationals, and the Rays are better than people think.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Let me read what Flobo said. So Flobo's manager of the year, he has Craig Albernaz and Will Venable as managers of the year. He also has biggest surprise, the White Sox in the playoff in September, and that the Rockies finished fourth and not last in the NL West.
Okay.
Wow.
That's his biggest surprise.
Oh yeah.
His biggest disappointment is that the Dodgers do not three-peat and that the Red Sox will have a major collapse.
Mhm.
All
So
right.
those are
There you
his.
go. There you
That's a good
go.
point.
All right. I will say my manager of the year is going to be my guy. I don't know, my guy, Dave. Even though I don't think they're going to give it to him. But I did say if the Cubs win the division, it's going to go to the Cubs manager. That is my pick for that.
Okay.
I
Who,
also had
do we know who that is? Who's the Cubs manager?
You're talking about Craig
Council.
Great
Council.
counsel.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Great
Hmm.
counsel. Yep. Okay.
Not
And for
Stanman.
the yeah, for the AL, I had also Alex Cora because I had picked them initially. For the biggest surprise, I think that Baltimore is going to do better than a lot of people think that they're going to do this year. So that is going to be my biggest surprise. My um
How are they gonna they just
I
had
said that
one
people, not
I'm
you.
saying they had one minor setback. They won 100 games and then like 90 something games. And
They're gonna do better.
last
Better
year they
as
were
in
just
they're not
stubbed
gonna
their
be
toe.
like in fourth place. They're gonna be better than
They
that.
stubbed their toe last year. That's all.
I actually think that they might be ahead of the Yankees, but hey, we'll see how that goes. Um, as far as biggest disappointment, I think the biggest disappointment is for me is going to be I had I think it's going to be San Diego. I had San
Oh yeah.
Diego slash San Francisco.
Okay.
One of them is going to be a bigger disappointment, a big disappointment. Which one? I don't know because San Francisco looked a hot mess yesterday. So we'll see exactly what that ultimately comes down to. But yeah, those are mine.
There you go. All right. Do we need to call like who our World Series champion is before we get out of here?
Oh, Malik has to do his first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Malik,
All right,
Okay.
I'll be quick, y'all.
okay,
AL
manager.
manager of the year is gonna be Matt Quintaro if they make the playoffs. And even if they don't, I think they're gonna look at him. I think they like scrappy guys for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um NL is gonna be Vitello, the Giants.
Oh.
I think there's a lot of helium behind him. If he does any good,
Mm.
they're gonna say, well, it works. The college
Mm-hmm.
recruitment works. Look at our new toy. And then
Okay.
I think the biggest surprise is going to be the upstart Marlins because they got a little, they got some pitching back there.
Yeah.
They got some
Mm.
pitching prospects that are coming up. And any team that has pitching, you have to respect, and we've seen that with the Brewers. And somehow the Brewers are also able to put offense on that. The biggest disappointment, I think, is going to be those Philadelphia Phillies. I think there's something
Mm-hmm.
going on there. It's I
Yep.
don't know if it's the raw
Yep.
milk. I don't know if it's just the
I'm just telling
vibes
you
that's
right
going
now.
on. We got Bohm
Mm-hmm.
here with one of the saddest news I've heard,
Right.
going
Suing
through
his
a
parents.
lawsuit with his parents. That's just been reported on Yahoo Sports. Um, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of good things going on in Philly with that rotation, I have to say, but I feel like there's going to be everyone's expecting them to be World Series or bust. And if you're not winning the World Series and you have the Dodgers you have to face, I think you're just setting yourself up for a disappointment if the
Yep.
expectations is for this team to win the World Series. So they're going to be the biggest disappointment.
Love that pick. I absolutely agree. And don't forget the beef with what Bryce Harper and who was it? Was it the GM or somebody else?
Yeah, and
So
shout out to Justin Crawford. He's made the
yes,
roster, so
he did.
excited to see him, do it like his daddy out there and
Man's
put
crossing,
some
and he got 2 hits today.
that
Yes,
guy. They said that
amazing.
his ground ball rate was untenable, but he hits the ball so hard that it doesn't matter and he runs fast. So
And
I'm pretty sure he's going to be really good.
Alex Baum, a 3-run home run today.
He heard y'all. He
Nice.
heard us talking.
Yes,
So
he heard it.
in the Discord.
All right, y'all. Now it is time for the World Series pick. And I don't think I remember seeing that from football. I'll have to go back. But I will tell y'all, it should come as no surprise that I think my Los Angeles Dodgers are going to successfully three-peat. Yes, I do. So,
Pick. Good pick.
Malik, who is your pick to win the 2026 World Series?
Hmm. I think that I think that we're gonna have to give it to the Blue Jays. Um,
Hmm.
I'm seeing 10 years ago the Royals went back to the World Series. They were even hungrier. They got a better team behind them. The Blue Jays are a little bit but the same and a little better, and so I think that they're gonna return and try to seize that World Series again.
Okay, great pick. Oh, and I forgot, Flobo did say the New York Mets, baby.
And that's what
Love
the World
it,
Series.
love it.
My World
All
Series
right.
right now, and I have it between the Tigers and the Phillies. And like you guys said, it's going to be World Series or bust for who y'all labeled as the biggest disappointment. But I actually think that they're going to be
I'm
World
y'all.
Series champions. So I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Phillies.
All right. I'm sure
Tigers,
Cam
Love
is
it.
Phillies,
proud of that pick.
Phillies in the World Series wins.
All right. And that concludes all of our picks for the 2026 Major League Baseball season.
There you go. April, you did a fantastic job.
Yes,
I
you
have
did.
now officially jinxed at least 9 teams. So that always happens.
I
These
see
teams are
why
going to be
you're betting against your Orioles this year so they can do well.
exactly.
Love it.
Last year I
See,
had
that's
him in
what
the
I'm
World
doing. You
Series.
see?
Uh, Aaron Judge is on my fantasy team, and he went 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts yesterday. Let's talk about how I jinx teams all the time. So that's what I bet heavily. I bet heavily on Team USA to win the WBC simply because did I want them to win or not? The jinx continues.
You picked the Red Sox to win the division.
There
Does
you
does
go.
Cheats want the Red Sox to win?
Emotional. It's called emotional hedging. Emotional hedging. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Black Baseball Mixtape. Thank you for sticking around. This is going to be a tremendous MLB 2026 season. I know you're excited. Malik's excited. April's excited. Flobo's
Yes.
excited. All of our extended mixtape family, which is growing by literally the day, is really excited. There's a lot coming up on the Substack, on the site, through all of our podcasts. 10th inning talk, Buddyman baseball. Still, we got 2 of the previews done. I'm sure there's only 7. There's only 7 more positions on the field. So we
Right.
got
Yeah,
we got 2 of them done. We're
you
gonna
got
continue
two.
to work with that. I don't want to belabor the point anymore, but starting tomorrow, you'll wake up tomorrow and you'll get your first episode or edition of Finish Your Breakfast. And from
Oh.
Ooh.
day one until literally the
Oh
World
God.
Series ends, every day you will get your Black Baseball recap
I
on the
love
Black
it.
Baseball Mixtape. So, hey, look, join us for this ride. It's going to be a heck of a ride. Make sure you subscribe to 10th Inning Talk. Make sure you follow Butterman Baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank our sponsors, Players Alliance, Minority Prospects, Numbers Game Scorecards. Until next time.